You're listening to Greater Good Radio Hawaii. Please visit us online at greatergoodradio.com. Today's guest is Larry Johnson, retired chairman of the board of directors and CEO of Bank of Hawaii. He has received numerous awards, including the University of Hawaii Distinguished Alumni, Fellow of the Pacific Award presented by Hawaii Pacific University, and was an inductee of the Pacific Coast Banking School Hall of Fame. So you were involved in a lot of athletics. What sports were you doing in high school?
Well, I played basketball and baseball. Played football for a little bit in my early career, but my grades weren't so hot, and so my father put the gauntlet down and said, "You better decide what you want to do, because there's no way you're going to be able to play 3 sports and still stay in school." And so I ended up playing baseball and basketball.
For those 2 sports that you focused on, did you think that you'd maybe go professional?
No, certainly not. No, I was hoping to be able to play in college, but when I got to college, when I went to Bradley, they were ranked number 2 in the nation in basketball, and there was no way in the world I was ever going to come close to doing that. But I did play baseball while I was there.
So let's talk about your rise from summer job to CEO. I mean, how does that actually take place? Well,
it actually happened. When I first started full time, I was making $500 a month, and I think my aspiration at that point in time was maybe to be a vice president someday. The money wasn't there, and the kind of work that I was doing. My first job when I started full time with the bank was up at Kaimiki branch as a teller. In fact, I remember so well, my first child was born. My daughter was born while I was a teller at Kaimiki branch. And she was born at Kapilani Hospital, and I was on the teller line, and I got a call from the doctor's nurse saying, "Oh, Larry, congratulations, you have a brand new daughter." And so I went to my supervisor right at that moment. It was about 10:30 in the morning. I said, "Gee, Emma, can I go down to the hospital, because I just got a call. I just have a brand new baby." And my supervisor, whose name was Emma Tom, turned out to be just a great friend of mine, looked at me and said, "Larry," he said, your lunch break is at 12 o'clock. He said, "You can go down and see your baby at 12 o'clock, but make sure you're back by 1. That's the way business was done back in those days. And, now you get health leave and you get everything else with it.
Mm-hmm. So what was the next step then? Why Larry Johnson becoming the CEO of the company? What's the most important things in order to get there?
Well, I was at Kaimiki branch for, I guess, about 9 months as a teller, and then I filled in some other branches on relief for about 3 months, and then they needed an operations officer to relieve somebody who was going on vacation. In fact, that was at Waikiki branch, and I guess they were pretty short of people, so they stuck me in the job. Well, I survived for 3 weeks in that position, and then they moved me out to. From there, I went to our branch in Kapahulu, and I was actually the operations supervisor. And that's the first line supervisor, the person who's in charge of the tellers and the bookkeepers and the new accounts people and so forth. And I still wasn't very motivated. I was motivated. I had a wife and I had a child at that point in time, so that was my real motivation. But the job didn't really excite me. And there were several times during my career when I looked around, and I saw friends of mine that I went to school with that are making twice the money that I was. And I thought, gee, that looks rather enticing, and I almost left on a couple of occasions to do other things. But for some reason, I did decide to stay, because within a year or 2 there was a nice promotion, and I went to Pearl Harbor branch as an assistant manager, and I was there for a couple of years, and then I was promoted to assistant manager of Ala Moana branch, which at the time was our second largest branch. And I enjoyed the work. I really enjoyed working with customers, working with people, and helping others. And then all of a sudden, out of the blue, the manager of the Waikiki branch, which was the largest branch in the whole network at the time, got some word about an illness in the family. He had to go back to the mainland. And much to my surprise, and much to the surprise of probably everybody in the entire bank, and maybe in the community, they appointed me to be manager of Waikiki branch, and I was only 27 years old. And I think that was the turning point in my career, because I realized for the first time that maybe I was the break in tradition, because for so long, particularly in the banking industry here, you had to work up through the ranks and you had to spend a lot of time. And luckily, maybe if you were lucky, after 25 or 30 years, you might make vice president. Well, I was 27, and then I took on the job of the largest branch, and I thought, well, this is a great opening for me. Maybe there is an opportunity for me to make this a career.
Was it hard? Was it real challenging for you, or was it pretty natural?
No, it was not easy, because I was obviously way in over my head. I'd had only like about 5 years of experience, and there were many, many things I didn't know. And there were a number of people saying, you know, this guy, 27 years old, he's never going to make it as manager of this branch. And we had customers that I know that thought that way. And I spent many, many evenings, reading the manuals and learning how to do all the various jobs in the bank and the branch that I needed to know. I spent a lot of time getting to know customers. Roy Kelly at the time was the largest customer of the branch, and I was told in no uncertain terms that I better get on his good side, or my career was suspect. And I can remember after being there 2 or 3 days, giving Mr. Kelly, as we called him, as I called him initially anyway, giving him a call and going down there and meeting with him at the Reef Hotel, and we got off to a good start, and I think that also helped my career.
Thanks for tuning in. Stay tuned for more on Greater Good Radio.